Thanks for watching Tonight at 9. I'm Robert Burns.
And I'm Leslie Rangel. Tonight, neighbors left worried after Temple police found the bodies of a child and an adult at an area mobile home park. People nearby wondering if they should be concerned with no arrests being made after this weekend.
Fox 44's Maribel Santiago live in the newsroom tonight, speaking with some of those people who are now claiming they are taking some extra precautions.
That's right, Robert. Leslie. In fact, one of those neighbors, Tammy Sargent, says she saw police working the scene, and she actually lives steps away from the home they were investigating. She says with limited details on the desk right now, she and other neighbors are on edge.
I particularly am worried because I don't know what happened.
Tammy Sargent has been living in her home at the Robinson and Midway Mobile Home Park for almost a year. She says what she saw on her way home from work early Saturday morning was too close for comfort.
They don't just put crime scene tape out for nothing. So I assumed somebody got hurt.
At around 3:25 a.m. that day, Temple police were first called to a welfare concern call at McLean's Children's Hospital. Kid was brought to the hospital and pronounced dead when police got there.
There was crime scene tape around both vehicles and around the trees, so it was kind of encasing the doorway that was open of the mobile home.
That led them to the 4700 block of Midway Drive to find another body. The investigation walking distance from Sargent's home.
I'm concerned whether or not this is an isolated incident or whether other people in the park have reason to be concerned.
As limited information has been released at this time, Sargent says she and her neighbors are worried.
Do I need to keep my children at home? Indoors where it's safe? Do I need to follow my daughter down to the trash can when she takes the garbage out?
Now they're being vigilant.
It's sad that it happened, and you know, I'm sure the community is waiting to find out, you know, what did happen.
Now, I spoke to neighbors off camera as well, and they said at this moment they're just waiting to get more information and get the names of the two people that were involved. Now, coming up at 9:30, we'll tell you some security measures these neighbors are taking now that this investigation is open. Live in the newsroom, Maribel Santiago, Fox 44 News.
Waco police announcing a reboot to its canine program after months of being on hiatus. Extra precautions for the program were put in place last year after canine officer Castor turned on his handler while serving an arrest warrant. Another officer had to shoot the dog. Waco Police Sergeant Patrick Swanton reiterated comments Chief Ryan Holt recently made.
Need to continue training. Obviously, our officers need to continue training with their canines. We need to look at doing some out-of-state training.
According to the chief's previous comments, the department needs to add more canines to its program. Well, hundreds in Waco honored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today during several events.
Yeah, they walked along the iconic suspension bridge, many of which volunteering today as a way to celebrate King's life. Fox 44's Noelle Mendoza was there.
Well, folks out here braved the cold all day today, and they just couldn't be happier to be able to honor such an important man in U.S. history.
We shall overcome. It's important for everyone to actually remember Dr. Martin Luther King, what he stood for, not just for black people, but all people throughout the United States.
In its 23rd year, the Peace March and Observance honors the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
In some ways, it was kind of sombering. As we walked across the bridge, no one was talking. I think it was really a good time to reflect on what Martin Luther King did for all of us. And I think that it's really amazing just to be able to be a part of this and just to see all of the people that have been affected by it.
Hundreds heard speeches.
This is something that we look forward to doing every year.
Bowed their heads in prayer.
Sometimes we've got to stand.
And listen to one of the most popular speeches by Dr. King.
I have a dream.
To me, he's a hero, a real hero. Like, a lot of people, whenever they don't hear the word hero, like they think like a little Superman is not. Like a hero to me is somebody like Dr. King, somebody who stood up for what they really believe in.
One man bringing people of all ages, races, and backgrounds together.
Caucasians, Hispanics, you name it, everybody came together as one. That's what I love. That was the most significant thing about it today.
Hallelujah.
It's awesome. That's what Dr. King wanted, and I'm elated that this is happening in our Waco community.
Just 5 minutes away at Mission Waco's Jubilee Theater.
Today, may we serve those around us in humility and resolve for a brighter future where the arc of justice that Dr. King spoke about is headed.
Another event celebrating and honoring the life and work of Dr. King.
God, please save our soul.
Today marks the 36th Martin Luther King Jr. Day. In Waco, Noelle Mendoza, Fox 44 News.
A Harris County man found guilty of murdering a man who was lit on fire. 32-year-old Curtis Holloman was charged in the death of 46-year-old Dexter Taylor. Now, Holloman was in an argument with Taylor and his father 3 years ago before police say he threw gas on them and lit the blaze. Taylor died at a hospital. His father survived. Sentencing is scheduled for tomorrow.
Police in Lubbock investigating after video shows daycare staff pulling a child's hair. Now, that footage shows one person yanking a little girl's hair. You can see the video. Another person insulting a child. Investigators say that there was a third employee who recorded the acts on December 26th. Police and parents say they weren't made aware of this until just last week.
That's my baby, my youngest, and should no child be treated the way that was treated. And that was very unprofessional, and we don't like that.
Not only police, but the Texas Department of Child Care Licensing are also investigating this.
The Texas Supreme Court upholds a murder conviction after a man says police violated his rights. Christian Sims was convicted in 2014 of shooting his grandmother. Now, he claims investigators violated his rights by using a cell phone location to find him at an Oklahoma hotel without using a warrant. In June, the Supreme Court ruled a warrant is required, but the Texas court says Sims had no privacy expectation because investigators accessed less than 3 hours of data.
A Houston man opening fire defending himself from an apparent home invasion this weekend. Police say that homeowner started shooting when 5 people walked inside his home wearing ski masks and demanding cash. The homeowner reached for what was the suspect assumes was money, but instead was pulling out an AK-47. The suspects returned fire as they made their way out of the home. 3 of them in the process, though, did die.
Homeowner, it appears, defended himself. The suspects fled, and we're looking at multiple fatalities at this point, and it's incredibly dynamic. We have multiple scenes and several deceased people.
Police have not released a motive for the suspects targeting that home.
Families who rely on SNAP benefits will have to stretch their funds until the government reopens. The Texas Health and Human Services Commission says funds for February were loaded onto Lone Star cards on Sunday, but that's the last scheduled deposit for now. Fox 44's Steffi Lee shares how some families are preparing for the uncertainty.
It's really important for us to serve and give back to the community.
On this Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, volunteers like Jan Massa worked at the Central Texas Food Bank.
It's a great way also to spend our day off in giving back. It's something that Martin Luther King really advocated for.
Jan's seen the impact of the shutdown on her brother-in-law and niece.
They're going to work but not getting paid.
Federal employees are increasingly turning to the food bank's partners as a resource.
So we have a network of over 300 partner agencies and mobile pantries that we can direct them to.
Some viewers who receive SNAP benefits reached out to us to say they're trying to plan out meals to save money. Some are even trying to make leftovers last for the next 2 days. Right now, there's no clear timeline on when the federal government will reopen and when the next round of SNAP benefits will come.
Already, food benefits through SNAP usually last about 3 weeks of the 4 weeks of a month. So now they're going to have to really stretch those even further through the month of February. Definitely budget to try to stretch those dollars as long as possible, but also to tap into the existing network of food resources that we provide in the community to make sure that they're balancing out those resources.
Let's hope it doesn't go on any longer.
All right, coming up next at 9, there's a museum opening up a new exhibit that highlights the first elected African-American sheriff in the Deep South.
And a Central Texas couple attacked for holding hands. Coming up, why they believe they were targeted.
And how about this? A pizza delivery car hijacked and bombed. Who